transgender athletes. I don't understand that, you know? Pro-choice people are like, well, it's not a life yet. It's not a baby yet. I know you're not supposed to make fun of fat people. I understand, all right? I don't know why, though. I don't understand. How come female athletes don't make as much as male professional athletes? Because you don't sell any tickets!
Bill Burr is the ultimate anti-woke comedian. He doesn't pander or tiptoe around sensitive topics. He dives into controversy and calls out hypocrisy with sharp, straightforward humor. Just look at the first clip.
I saw a woman a couple months back, professional soccer player, right? She goes on to ESPN or one of these sports channels, and she starts going like, I don't understand. How come female athletes don't make as much as male professional athletes? Right? And all of these men had to sit there and act like they didn't know what the answer was. They had to sit there like dumbfounded, like, oh, I don't know. Why is that? That is a conundrum. I have no idea. Literally, I'm sitting at home screaming at the TV because you don't sell any tickets. Nobody is going to women's soccer games. You're playing in a 20,000-seat arena. 1,500 people show up. That's not a good night. The promoter lost his ass on that gig.
Women's sports don't draw big crowds or big money. Simple as that. Stop with the fake confusion and forced applause. No fans means no pay. You want equal pay? Then create equal demand. It's not sexism, it's economics. The market doesn't care about feelings, only results.
I think I know how to raise a kid. You know what it is? You just play catch with them. That's how you raise a kid. You play catch with them. You just talk about life. You distract them by throwing the ball. They don't even notice. You're filling their heads up with your theories. Right? You don't do it the old school way, the way your parents used to. Sit down across from you. You want to tell me about your day? Right? What's that, son? We're not going to church today. Fuck that. That's all a bunch of bullshit. God's everywhere, but I got to go down there to see him? Really? And he's mad at me down there and I owe you money? Go fuck yourself. It's not down, it's in here. They try to take it. It's in here. You do something good, you feel good. You do something bad, you feel bad, you know? Unless you're like a sociopath and you don't feel shit. Unless you got somebody duct taped upside down in your apartment, you know? And if you do something like that, I want you to feel like you can come to me, you know? Yeah, come to me, confess all of that. We'll go down to the precinct, we'll tell them everything. Yeah, I'm gonna turn you in. This isn't Dexter. What are you, out of your mind?
Parenting isn't about turning your kid into a mini version of your political ideology. It's sickening to see 5-year-olds at protests chanting slogans they don't even understand, parroting their parents' agendas like puppets. That's not raising a child. That's brainwashing. The woke crowd loves to shove their worldview down kids' throats, treating them like trophies for their own virtue signaling. Let kids be kids. Teach them how to think, not what to think.
Let's bring them to a nice, normal, mainstream topic so everybody can drive home happy, no fights, all right? Sound good? All right, great. Let's talk abortion. There you go. Pro-choice always made sense to me because I don't like people telling me what to do. And I always just like, it's your body. Who the f*** am I to tell you what to do with your body? So that always made sense. However, I still think you're a baby. See? That's where it gets weird. Pro-choice people are like, well, it's not a life yet. It's not a baby yet. May or may not be true. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. But I'll tell you, my gut tells me that doesn't make sense. It's not a baby yet. That would be like if I was making a cake and I poured some batter in a pan and I put it in the oven and then 5 minutes later you came by and you grabbed the pan, you threw it across the floor and I went, what the fuck, you just ruined my birthday cake? And then you were like, well, that wasn't a cake yet. Well, it would have been if you didn't do what you just did. There would have been a cake in 50 minutes. Something happened to that cake, you cake son of a bitch. Right?
Abortion has become the woke sacred cow, dressed up as bodily autonomy to avoid admitting the obvious. It's the ending of a life. The "it's not a life yet" excuse is absurd mental gymnastics designed to dodge accountability. If something has the potential to become human, destroying it isn't a neutral act. The modern pro-choice movement has strayed from hard truths, sanitizing a brutal reality to fit its narrative.
Now look, I know you're not supposed to make fun of fat people. I understand, all right? I don't know why, though. Why? They're not a race. They're not a religion. It's totally curable. Eat an apple and go for a walk. You know? Why are you yelling at everybody else? The f*** are you giving me shit for? All right? You put the cookies in there. I didn't. How is this my problem? Jesus Christ, you ate your way in, you can walk your way out. All right? And just slowly start shedding the pounds. Shove some lettuce in there instead of a bunch of ho-hos, and it's going to come down, and then you're on my side of the fence, right? Join me. Come on, say it with me. Shame. Shame. Right?
Why has the woke mob decided that obesity is untouchable, labeling any critique as fat phobia? Let's be real. Being overweight isn't brave or empowering. It's a health crisis caused by bad choices. Society's obsession with body positivity is nothing more than a smokescreen for enabling laziness. Coddling people instead of holding them accountable for their actions only normalizes a deadly epidemic.
I always say when my wife was pregnant, I would say my wife, she's pregnant. And then I always have these people like, excuse me, you're supposed to say we're pregnant? You're supposed to say we're pregnant? It's like, well, I'm not a seahorse, so I'm not pregnant. My wife is pregnant. Look at her, she's putting on weight, her feet are swelling up. She's miserable, miserable. I'm still doing pull-ups, I'm crushing it. While being pregnant, I'm still drinking, smoking, yeah.
This nonsense of lumping men into the pregnancy experience as if we're waddling around with swollen ankles and morning sickness is peak modern absurdity. Burr calls it out perfectly. We're not seahorses. Men don't get pregnant. We're just the guys who carried the groceries and assembled the crib.
What I love about sports is it's a great way to tap out from the news and just, watch a game and get away from it. Now there's like all these causes are getting like attached to it. Like I was watching the World Series, and I'm in the middle of watching the World Series, and out of nowhere they have this moment, stand up to cancer. I'm watching a ball game, and all of a sudden everybody stands up holding up a sign of somebody that they either know that's dying of cancer or died of it in the middle of the game. It's just like, what are you doing? I'm trying to watch a game here. No, there's a time and a place. Look, I know somebody that has died of cancer. I would never go to the movies with you and in the middle of it hit pause and be like, oh, by the way, Conan, I know this guy. He died of cancer. It was horrific. I could have lifted him up off the sheet with 2 fingers. It was horrible. Hey, enjoy. Oh, by the way, I got when I was 9. Enjoy the...
Mixing personal tragedies with entertainment is absurd. Sports are a break from reality, not a platform for virtue signaling. Burr's right. People don't pause a movie to share their darkest moments, so why hijack a game? There's a time and place for everything, and forcing heavy topics into escapism only ruins it for everyone.
So your Christian background is part of the show. Or
yes, and I wanted
episodes.
to talk to you about Jesus after this.
Well, the only reason why I bring it up is some people thought maybe you went a little too far.
As far as what?
Well, they thought that maybe you were being disrespectful to the Christian religion.
Who did?
I'm telling you, you need to Google.
Oh, good Lord.
So did you feel you were being disrespectful, or just you were just having fun with some of the crucifixes and stuff like that?
I don't even know what I mean, we did maybe 2 jokes about that?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't you think the Catholic Church went a little too far? More so than my cartoon.
All right, listen.
A couple of jokes. I know this is a morning show. You can't bring up all those crimes.
You know what? Technically,
they just sort of kept moving them around. Like those killer whales at SeaWorld. After it kills a trainer, they'll then move it up to Seattle. They don't give them their background.
All right, I'm not totally following, but I don't think I want to.
You know what I'm talking about? It's a morning show. I understand.
I
came on. That kid missed the graduation, and then it was a feel-good story.
It was a feel-good, and we want to leave.
If you want to feel good about America, you watch the morning shows. You don't watch this,
And
we were joking earlier. If that kid's story about the graduation was late night, that would have been a whole different story.
What do you think?
He's still missing. We can't find him. All we found was his hat. But you watch in the morning. It's great. It all worked out. He got his own personal graduation. Like, I was in such a great mood. Look how yellow this couch is. It's like the sun.
This is the kind of candor that morning shows hate, but desperately need. Instead of glossing over tough realities with feel-good stories, Burr exposes how sanitized narratives mask deeper truths. It's a slap to the face of performative outrage, reminding people that humor often holds up a mirror to things they'd rather ignore. Frankly, we need more of it.
Let's have a little empathy here. Put yourself in a lesbian's shoes. Who do lesbians date? Women. Who do they move in with? Women. Who do they get in relationships with? Women. Who do they eventually marry? Women. And I was thinking like, oh my God, I did that. I know what it's like to live with one of those things. I know exactly what that, it's hopeless. Trying to make them happy. Hey, I bought you the shiny thing. Did I do it right? Huh? Trying to get them to take responsibility for their actions. Not gonna happen. The best you're gonna get is I'm sorry, but I know what it's like to be winning a fucking argument. You're winning, and then they turn it around. They're crying. You're apologizing. You're thinking, what the happened? How how am I losing this shit? I had you on the ropes. You feel so dumb, you gotta go for a walk. And you're just thinking, how did I lose again? And then you figure it out. It makes you feel stupid. And then you see some bald with a giant orange mustache. And you're like, you know what? Why don't you take some of that shit?